Are you ready to finally make that dream a reality? Maybe it's updating your kitchen, paying down high-interest credit cards, or covering tuition. Your home is more than where you live. It's also your most powerful asset. At Unlock, we make it simple to turn equity into options. With a home equity agreement, you can access cash today without taking on monthly payments. Imagine the freedom to invest in your home, reduce financial stress, or finally start that big project you've been putting off. It's your home. It's your future. Unlock it today. Visit unlock.com to learn more about a home equity agreement. That's unlock.com to learn more.
Terms and conditions apply. Not all homeowners will qualify. Not available in all states. Actor Portrayal. Home equity agreements are offered by Unlock Home Equity Solutions, Inc. In certain states, NMLS number 2657081. Visit www.consumeraccess.org for more info.
And now it's time for No Pucks Given with Dan Kingerski of Pittsburgh Hockey Now. Penguin Scoop's locker room buzz and straight-up analysis. No fluff, all hockey. Now, here's Dan.
It is No Pucks Given. Hi, I'm Dan Kingerski on the Pittsburgh Hockey Now platforms, including Odyssey Podcast Network from Los Angeles. The Penguins are on a week-long West Coast road trip, and I'm going to test out a theory that I'm going to outsmart everybody and stay all week in Los Angeles and commute back and forth to Anaheim for a couple of days. We'll see. We'll see if that drives me nuts or if I made the right call. So from my downtown LA hotel, and it is a little bit interesting outside. It's No Pucks Given, episode 33 or 34. I've lost count. Here's what's on tap for this episode, because I put out a quick Twitter call as well for some questions at the end of the podcast. And I thought there were some interesting questions I didn't see coming. By the way, I'm not losing my voice. I just had the spiciest spicy beef basil at this little food hall. Oh my God, it was so good. So good, but I'm losing my voice. Or I guess I'm a little bit raspy. Anyway, so here's the topics du jour on No Pucks Given. First, we're going to talk about the rookies, all five of them, quite frankly. We're going to get into each of them from Ville Koivunen, his play and being sent down, through the other, Kindel, Brunicke, Shelovs, and Philip Hollander. We're going to get into the, I'm just going to call it what it is, unfounded trade speculation. We're going to talk about Dan Muse's system. I had a pretty good bead on it, but one of the a coach who knows Dan, not this Dan, that Dan, helped me put a couple more pieces of the puzzle in place and really defined it in a way that I can share with you in easily digestible increments. We've got it. We finally have cracked the Muse code. We'll also talk about the Penguins goalie situation. I thought Saturday was unfortunately exactly what I expected to see, not just from the team, but in net as well. The good and the bad. We're going to get into that. And of course, a handful of reader questions. So No Pucks Given. I'm recording this East Coast time. It's Sunday evening. West Coast time, it's middle of the afternoon. Sun is shining and everybody's out having a good time. Let's talk about the rookies first. I think the easy one, we don't have to spend much time on this because it's almost not interesting to dissect or analyze Ben Kindel. We've been over it backwards and forwards. How well he is playing, you can go ahead. Just throw caution to the wind. Whatever jersey you want, you can go ahead and buy your Ben Kindel jersey. That kid's going to last more than 9 games. And if they, for some reason, do not keep him past 9 games, you have full permission to go a little batty. Harrison Brunicke, also, I can't see them sending him back to juniors after 9 games or even before 9 games. He's having ups and downs. That was to be expected. He's a defenseman. It's so much more complicated to be a defenseman, especially when you're 19 years old. He's having a few growing pains. He's making a few mistakes. The good thing about Brunicke is that he's not letting the mistakes weigh him down. He does seem to be learning from them. He's still holding onto the puck a bit too long in some instances. That's just going to have to work itself out. And let's see what else we got here. In terms of the rookies, I mean, we've been over them in the post games and in print. I think the interesting one right now is Ville Koivunen, because he was good, so good at the end of last year. 7 assists in 8 games, playing with Crosby, playing with Malkin. Looked like he belonged, smart and quick and even a little feisty, showing those hands and that playmaking ability. It wasn't there at the start of the regular season. He was good in preseason. He was really good with Ben Kindel and Avery Hayes. I mean, really good. Puck drops for the regular season, and then all of a sudden, yikes, his game just crumbled. First things first, I disagree with sending Koivunen to Wilkes-Barre Scranton. Full stop. I would have maybe scratched him for a game when Brian Rust came back on Saturday. I would have maybe dropped him down to the third line with Kindle for a couple of games or a few games, or long term. I would have gone that route before sending him down to Wilkes-Barre. Don't forget, this year begins a whole new transaction rule. There are no more paper transactions with regard to sending a player down. In years past, you could demote a player and you just say, hey, hang out for a few days. You know, we're going to work out some other things. You just sit tight, practice with the big club, and then we'll recall you in a couple or a few days. Teams also did things like that in order to save salary cap space. Remember the one year the Penguins were right up against it, and Jim Rutherford every day was sending 2 and 3 players down, technically sending them down to Wilkes-Barre, saving 10, 12, 20,000 bucks at a clip, just trying to accrue as much salary cap space as possible. Well, that's gone now. Over, done with. If you reassign a player, they actually have to go report and play at least one game. So Koivunen had to make that drive to Wilkes-Barre or wherever they were playing. I didn't look at the schedule. That's not where my headspace is. So he actually has to go report and play a game or 3 or however many until the Penguins deem him ready to be brought back. It's a mistake, though. Absolute mistake, because he did play well in preseason. It wasn't, if he had played poorly with Kindle and Avery Hayes, then you're like, something's wrong. Maybe last season was a flash. But no, I saw the exact same player in preseason that I saw at the end of last season. Whether it was playing with Crosby that sort of intimidated him, look, Sidney Crosby is kind of scuffling a bit right now. He's fighting his game. So I imagine Crosby was looking for some help. You could see Sidney Crosby in the Penguins home opener, kind of on the bench, giving Koivunen, let's call it some tough love or some tips, or telling him what he wanted from Koivunen. That, it wasn't a good look for 2 games for the rookie, but I would have found somebody to waive. I would have found some avenue to keep him on the NHL roster. The other one I want to talk about, Philip Hollander. I can see the Hollander fan club growing, and people want to go back. Kingerski, you only gave him a C+ in training camp. I'm like, yeah, that's about what he deserved in training camp. A bit vanilla, conservative, staid, not very impressive. He's a bit bigger and stronger than I anticipated. His moments have come near the net, along the wall, shielding the puck, winning pucks. That part surprises me a little bit because he was a goal scorer last season in the Swedish league. So I expected a bit more sniping and a bit less grinding. To Hollander's credit, he's been good. Don't get over your skis and start, trying to pencil him in as an all-star or demanding he play top 6 minutes. Maybe ease up a little bit there. Dan Muse, I thought, had an opinion or a take that I could go along with, because I didn't grade Hollander very well in training camp. And Dan Muse said, listen, coming from Sweden, I know he's played in North America before, but after spending a couple of years there, I thought there was an adjustment in training camp. He's like, I thought he got better as it went on. So he was kind of, if you want to read between the lines, Dan Muse was basically saying my C+ was about right, but they, with some knowledge, with some faith, put that faith in Hollander to keep him on the big club. Whether or not it's going to be rewarded, I suppose the best thing any prospect can get is a chance, and he's getting a chance. If you're playing beside Ben Kindel right now, you are going to get the puck. You're going to get the puck in a scoring zone, or you're going to have a chance to set him up in the scoring zone. We'll see where it goes. Is he just a body, or is he somebody who can contribute long term? I'm in the middle on that one. I think he's more than just, he's more than a jag, just a guy. I don't know how impactful he's going to be, though. I tend to think marginal, small sort of impact, but let's see. That is the interesting part. He is defensively responsible and smart enough that, in fact, you can give him a chance and run with it without crippling your team or hurting your lines. So those are the four skaters. Artur Shilovs, we'll hold him for the goalie conversation. The trade talk now. Pittsburgh Penguins trade talk. 11 minutes and 35 seconds into this show, I could spend 8 seconds on it and be done. Actually, I could spend one word on it.
Are high-interest credit cards or personal loans weighing you down? Unlock gives homeowners a smarter option. With a home equity agreement, you can tap into your home's equity for cash today. There are no monthly payments. Here's how it works. Unlock provides funds upfront and, in exchange, shares in a portion of your home's future value. That means you keep control with the flexibility to use your equity your way. Pay off bills, invest in home improvements, or set aside savings for peace of mind. For thousands of homeowners, Unlock has been the key to moving forward without the pressure of another payment. Put your equity to work for you. Visit unlock.com to learn more about a home equity agreement. That's unlock.com to learn more.
Terms and conditions apply. Not all homeowners will qualify. Not available in all states. Actor Portrayal. Home equity agreements are offered by Unlock Home Equity Solutions, Inc. In certain states, NMLS number 2657081. Visit www.consumeraccess.org for more info.
It would be what a bovine might drop. I don't understand why there are a couple of big name journalists out there who just kind of won't let it go. I almost think that they're doing it just to twerk a nipple, just to tweak it, just to sort of kind of keep it going, being the wrestling bad guy a little bit. First, obviously over the summer, there was the Sidney Crosby stuff, but over the last week or so, ESPN has unfettered talked about the Evgeny Malkin trade scenarios. going so far as to report that it's general consensus Malkin will be a Florida Panther soon. Now, here's the thing about that. And I have this secondhand, not firsthand, not from Kyle Dubas, but I have this secondhand that perhaps some in the Penguins organization hear these rumors, hear these reports, and scoff with colorful language. I think that probably tells you all you need to know about it. It did to me. You get eye rolls. You get, what the bleepity bleep are you talking about? Is it impossible? No, I think it makes great sense. And that's why it's being kept alive, because every amateur GM, from me to you to, every other person in media says, well, that's perfect. The Panthers need a center for 1 year. Malkin has 1 year left. Malkin owns a house in Florida. By the way, so does every other Russian hockey player. Good Lord. It's not exactly special that Evgeny Malkin owns a house in Florida. Half the NHL, I think, owns a house in Florida. So that is not a good enough reason. And to be honest, go back to Evgeny Malkin's preseason or his training camp. Media availability. He kind of struck the same tone that Chris Letang struck with me last spring, when I essentially had to tell Chris Letang to tell me no. Because Letang was sort of talking in a bit of a circle and acquiescing to, he's like, listen, it's a business. And I'm like, yeah, but you have the final say. He's like, well, right, yeah, I want to stay, but it's a business. You're like, okay. And what that means is these guys understand the greater situation. Evgeny Malkin essentially said the same thing, although maybe in a little bit of a different English. He did not say, oh, look, Brad Marchand got traded, so can I. Didn't say that. He said it looked weird when Brad Marchand got traded. And he didn't know how he would feel if the Penguins came to him with a request to waive his no movement clause. He didn't know how he would feel. Kind of weird. I think that is probably the most honest answer any of the three have given. They don't know what Kyle Dubas is going to do. Everybody who's been in professional sports has seen a general manager, a president, or an owner say one thing on Tuesday. This guy is my coach. We are not trading this player. Our team isn't for sale. And a couple of weeks later, the exact thing that was denied becomes reality. So from that standpoint, Malkin, I guess was admitting reality isn't necessarily completely and entirely, totally under his control. If it is, he's staying. And even if it's not, he's probably staying. I don't want to criticize colleagues. I don't want them criticizing me, and I'm not going to criticize them. It's easy to say those things from 1,000 miles away. It would be very difficult for me or Yoey or Taylor or Matt, Seth, to go there, because we talk to these guys, and they're just they couldn't scoff any harder if they tried when the topic is broached. What did Sidney Crosby say? How many times do I have to answer this question? So I think that is it. From the Sidney Crosby trade talk through the Evgeny Malkin trade talk, how many times do I have to answer this question? All right, topic number 3 here on the No Pucks Given. In fact, let's do this. We're going to take a break on the podcast side, on the Odyssey Podcast Network. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about Dan Muse's system, the goalies, and the reader questions. Some of you are starting to pick at some scapegoats. I don't know if I agree, but there's also a couple points I do agree with. So that The video side, we keep rolling. On the podcast side, we take a break now.
Are you ready to finally make that dream a reality? Maybe it's updating your kitchen, paying down high-interest credit cards, or covering tuition. Your home is more than where you live. It's also your most powerful asset. At Unlock, we make it simple to turn equity into options. With a home equity agreement, you can access cash today without taking on monthly payments. Imagine the freedom to invest in your home, reduce financial stress, or finally start that big project you've been putting off. It's your home. It's your future. Unlock it today. Visit unlock.com to learn more about a home equity agreement. That's unlock.com to learn more.
Terms and conditions apply. Not all homeowners will qualify. Not available in all states. Actor Portrayal. Home equity agreements are offered by Unlock Home Equity Solutions, Inc. In certain states, NMLS number 2657081. Visit www.consumeraccess.org for more info.